Are we going to coddle them? Because if we sometimes coddle the addict alcoholic, we might bury the addict alcoholic. So why not be honest with them, brutally honest? Hello, my name is Pej. I'm an interventionist. I help people with substance abuse, with alcoholism, and with mental health disorders. Today, we're going to talk about sober livings, the safest sober livings, the most effective sober livings that are out there, why I believe in sober living, and also for the fact that even though I'm an interventionist, why I would send people to certain types of sober livings as opposed to other ones. A lot of people often, when I make videos about sober livings, have a lot of questions. Some people want to open some. And so, I'm about a sober living that isn't just providing a space for people to get out of treatment or get out of jail or get off the streets, just to remain sober during their time while they're in the sober living. This is about having long-term sobriety, lifelong-term sobriety once you leave the sober living. I'm not one for a sober living that only provides a space for people to come, but they're not held accountable, where the managers are getting high, where there's not certain expectations of the people that are within the homes. Sober living works best when people are actually involved in their community, where they are building their community, where they're required to go to certain types of meetings, whether it be a 12-step world or, some people do more religious activities, some people do smart recovery. I'm all about the 12 steps, most definitely. The sober livings that I own and the sober livings that I have affiliations with, people who I believe in what they do, they will send people to 12-step meetings, and it's not just 1 or 2 days a week, it's regularly, because it's there where they can come and go and hear the message, and where they can also carry the message. Also, I believe in sober living homes that aren't flop houses, where people are just basically existing, they're not doing anything with themselves. They can sleep till all hours of the day, they're not really doing, their parents are paying for them. A sober living that's really effective is when somebody comes in and they do not have any distractions from the outside world. That means they're not trying to chase women or men, or they really are working on themselves. I like places where some people would label them as militant. I would just call them behavioral modification, because let's be real here, when people end up in sober living homes, their behaviors in the past have not been that of a person who's living a normal life, or else they wouldn't end up in sober living. They need their behavior modified. So when they go into these types of homes, if there's people there that are, leaders, whether they're people that are former residents of the sober livings who have now gone into more of a managerial type of position, they can hold you accountable and teach you the culture of the sober living. I live in both Los Angeles and Orange County. I have some sober livings in South Orange County. I've had them in Los Angeles. I have a lot of friends that own other sober livings who I live by what they do. I actually learn from lots of them, and I continue to learn from them. I go to their sober livings and I see the type of work they do, and it's hands-on. There's no sugarcoating. It's all love. They definitely teach people in a very in a loving way, like what sobriety consists of, but it's also effective. It's to the point where people will go and they will completely transform their lives because they're held accountable, because they are not trying to, fly under the radar and just plan their next relapse and get high. There's a lot of their own house members who will, some people, they'll group them or hold them accountable and basically pull their covers. That's what one of the terms is that they use in these types of sober livings is when somebody's coming short, or they're in relapse mode, or they are doing things that are not conducive to their recovery or other people's recovery around them, they will be called out on it. And a lot of people think that certain approaches in these types of sober livings are a little bit too harsh. It's not going to therapeutically help people, but the reality of it is are we going to coddle them? Because if we sometimes coddle the addict alcoholic, we might bury the addict alcoholic. So why not be honest with them, brutally honest? I like to often let people know that come through our sober livings that we aren't your parents. We're not going to clean up after you. We're not going to put things away for you. You need to learn to become responsible for doing your own things, whether it be chores, making your bed, eating properly, all the different things that you do. Being there for a double scrub, which means, clean the whole house from top to bottom on a certain particular day, and then learn to become self-supporting by your own contributions. That means your parents are supporting you in the first few months while you're with us so that you can work on your recovery process. I often tell them, listen, I don't care if you go to the most prestigious school when you get out of here. I don't care if you have the most stellar job. But if you don't have recovery, like your recovery in place and in motion, you can leave here and get all of that stuff, but you will lose all of that stuff if you don't truly have recovery working in your life to the best of your ability. And that means like going through the process of any kind of recovery process, and then on the other end of that, being of maximum service and helping people that come after you the same way people demonstrated and show you what real recovery was, and they were there for you in the first place. It's to become selfless, to become altruistic. And we see a lot of success stories that come out of our sober livings. We don't have a high relapse rate. Usually if somebody wants to go and get high, we know just by their behaviors where they are. We will drug test obviously, but also just by the way they're acting, the way they're talking amongst each other. And either they'll filter themselves out, or we will make sure that they are accommodated and go to some other place that is more suitable for them, since they can't come and implement the structure from our houses. If you or somebody that you know has a drug addiction or alcoholism problem and probably needs to get into a structured sober living, you can always contact me. I don't just send people to my own homes. Usually my homes are full anyway. I don't do this stuff to market my homes. I do this because I want to be able to help you or your loved one get into a safe environment where you can get some structure in your life. 310-596-9356. Call me and we can explore options for you or your loved one.